The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
It is magic time, Warren. Hello, and welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. I'm one of your hosts, Bradley.
And I'm the other host, Warren.
Exactly. That is who you are.
Yeah.
We are here on a sort of blustery winter day going on here. We had a little snow.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Were you excited about that? Are you still the kind of person who looks forward to snow and winter weather, or?
Snow is probably my favorite thing in the world.
Okay, see, because I was just talking about this today, where as a child, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you wake up in the morning, there's a blanket of snow on the ground. It's this amazing, fluffy white gift from heaven. Now, I think it just goes along with the whole process of becoming embittered and angry about everything as you get older. Snow just pisses me off now, because it just makes it so I can't do anything. If I had nothing to do ever, I'd be perfectly pleased with snow whenever it happened. But now it just means there's places I can't drive, I can't get to work, I can't do anything, because our city just shuts down entirely when there's actually snow on the ground.
We do have a hard time coping with the snow. People tend to panic on the roadways and just start steering random directions and just drive off cliffs and start screaming in terror. It's not, I mean, it really is just a little bit of like frozen rain on the road. It's really not the end of the world, but people just can't handle it.
Well, we used to have more snow plows and things here. And then
there's some story about how we traded them,
sold them away for like some magic beans.
No. I think it was we had like some old timey looking buses, and the story I heard was that we traded our snowplows in for these like old timey trolley looking buses, and then like the next year we had the huge blizzard, and then we were all just screwed. A couple years ago, I remember the snow came down and it stayed like freezing for a month.
God. Yeah, it was
horrible. And the roads were just iced over for an entire month, and like no one did anything about it.
Well, even the sidewalks, like in the Northeast, places where they get snow pretty much all winter long, they have laws where if you're a business, you have to keep your sidewalk clear. Here, I remember I lived downtown is sort of on a hill. There's the main Holly Street that goes, I don't know, north to south, east to west. I don't know.
Yeah, both.
One of those.
Yeah.
And basically, you're walking around. Nobody can drive, really, because the roads are so horrible, and people are trying to wander around, do shopping and stuff, and you just see everywhere, whoa, hey, whoa, people falling on their asses left, right, and center.
Well, when I used to live in the Midwest, I had an apartment, and I had a landlord who was a man, but I think the owner of the building was an old woman.
Okay.
And you do have to clean off your sidewalk or you get a ticket.
Even a private residence?
Yes.
Okay.
You got to clean off the sidewalk in front of your house because people got to be able to walk around.
Right.
And so this old woman, for some reason, would have to show up, and she'd be out there scraping the snow off every time.
Why wouldn't she have the manager?
I have no idea why he didn't do it. I always felt terrible about it because there were a bunch of like 20-something...
But you never went out to help.
No. There were a bunch of 20-something males
Yeah.
living in this place, right? Just slacking. One of my roommates didn't even work, I don't think. He just hung out and talked about skateboarding all the time, doing nothing. And this old like woman is out there just shoveling the snow, trying to clear the sidewalk so then we don't get a ticket.
It's weird because we live our climate is pretty mild. Like it usually doesn't get too cold in winter or too hot in the summer. So we don't have to deal with too much. There's a lot of rain, but not a lot of snow. But at the end of last winter, I bought some yak tracks.
Oh yeah, they're great.
You seen those guys? They're these like basically chains for your shoes that you put over. They're great. And I was really excited about them. And as soon as I bought them, the weather pretty much broke last winter. And now since I have them, I think this just goes along with Murphy's Law or whatever. If you have the yak tracks, it's not going to snow.
Yeah.
If you're prepared for something, it won't happen.
It does seem to work out that way sometimes. I forgot what I was going to say.
That's good. Let's go with that.
I'm not on the top of my game right now.
Warren's a little sick.
I'm like mildly sick. I did take a lot of caffeine. I drink a lot of coffee to try to prepare to like broadcast to give you the like high quality,
the gold,
of podcasts you used to expect. We're gonna see how it goes. I spent yesterday just sitting around my house playing video games because I was sick, and then I think the way my neck was propped against the couch really like hurt my neck a lot too.
Huh.
So if I like sit up now or if I move my neck at all, it really hurts. So
now the sinus infection has been coupled with a spinal injury of some sort.
Things are degrading quickly over here.
Well, we're good. We're good. I'm on my third cup of coffee for the day. And how much caffeine have you had?
I had a mocha in the morning, and then I went out for breakfast and like watched a football game, and I had like a bunch of cups of coffee. She kept refilling it, and then I got another mocha when I was coming over here.
This is good.
So
How many shots are in your?
Oh, I guess 2.
Okay.
So I probably had 4 shots and then like 3 cups of coffee on top of that.
Do you think you've inured yourself to the caffeine now, or do you need to keep upping the dosage?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Eventually, I'm just gonna have to drink so much
You'll
all
have
the
to
time.
just mainline it.
I'm gonna try to like cut back a little bit and start just maybe having 1 cup of coffee in the morning.
Is the coffee enema thing, is that just to clean you out, or is that also supposed to give you a zip?
I imagine it would give you a zip.
I would imagine so too.
Because it would be absorbed in your
Yeah,
bloodstream.
we've talked about putting alcohol up your ass.
Yeah, well, yeah, caffeine the same way.
Yeah.
Anything's that way. I was talking to somebody just the other day about pills. And apparently you can pretty much take anything you can swallow, you can stick up there and it'll work.
Well, yeah, we've talked about ass mints before.
Have we?
Haven't we? I thought we did. Not on the show, but just...
with you and me. And
Yeah.
I didn't remember that conversation during the show. What episode that was when we were talking about ass mints.
Well, remember that was our logical conclusion, is that if breath mints will make your breath smell better, an ass mint could potentially make your flatulence smell better.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would just coat it, make it like a minty shitty smell, which wouldn't be any better, which is like worse.
Yeah, it
almost.
might actually be kind of worse.
So I've been sick. So I watched a couple movies this weekend.
What did you watch, Warren?
Well, first, I watched the new Planet of the Apes movie
How was that?
with James Franco. It wasn't terrible.
I think that's all you could hope for.
Oh, yeah.
Not
It was
being
like as good as it could be.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be like
Did I
a
say
great
terrible?
classic.
Terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It was fine. The monkeys were fun to watch. The real star of the movie is a CGI monkey, though.
Yeah.
Which is very strange.
Wasn't he played by the Gollum dude?
I guess so.
Andy Serkis?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
the name of the guy. And he, he's very expressive, and he was very good. And he was a genius monkey. And
Caesar.
he led these other monkeys, and it was pretty great. And then they spoiler alert, they like take off and they run across the Golden Gate Bridge, and there's like a shootout, and then they end up in these trees. And you're like, ooh, I wonder where this is going. I can't wait for the next one. I want to see what happens with these monkeys.
I still feel like if there were even thousands of monkeys with super intelligence who knew how to communicate with each other, it'd still be pretty easy to mow them down. I mean, they're strong. They're pretty strong. But
They're strong, but they're like smart.
Did they overrun a National Guard armory and start getting assault rifles?
No. They were,
chucking their own feces at people?
they were just trying to basically escape, and they got away.
Okay.
Sort of. And they were trying to like gun them down.
And then
but-
everyone was just like, okay, we give up.
Well, that's the
we'll
weird
let the
part.
monkeys
He, like-
start their society in the forest.
Yeah, they run across this bridge. They go to like the redwoods, because that's where Caesar, the young monkey, James Franco, used to bring him there to
Is
the
there
redwoods.
a redwood forest right by?
It's just
San
a little north
Francisco?
of there in whatever Marin County or whatever. I think there's redwoods up there.
Okay.
And so he would like that place. So he led the other monkeys over there, and they're all kind of hanging out. And James Franco figures out where they're going, and so he like hugs the monkey at the end and was like, he's like, "Come home." And the monkey's like, "Oh, this is the other thing." Monkey starts to talk, which is weird.
He just spontaneously developed the ability to speak.
Well, no. At one point,
Okay. This is a problem because, okay, maybe you could make the monkey super intelligent with some sort of crazy serum. Wasn't it supposed to be a cure for Alzheimer's or something
yeah,
like
it's
that?
like a virus.
Okay, but they lack the physical tools necessary to actually produce sounds the way we do and actually have
Not
language.
according to this movie.
They do.
At one point, okay, there's a court case. John Lithgow is the father of James Franco, and he has Alzheimer's.
Right.
So at one point, he's really senile, and he gets in this guy's car, and this guy's like, "Get out of my car," and he kind of tussles the guy, and Caesar, the monkey, sees this
Attacks
and was
him.
like, and he like bites the guy's fingers. So there's a court order. He has to go to this like refuge for monkeys.
Right.
And of course, Brian Cox, the actor who is always just like seedy as
Evil,
fuck,
yeah.
is like, "Oh yeah, I run this refuge. It's great." And you're like, there's nothing good goes on at this refuge. So they make it look really good. And he
Was
gets in there.
it a front for medical testing or something?
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Or-
Well, that's the thing. That's what. Of course, they were doing that. They're shipping the monkeys out sometimes.
Yeah.
They made it look. There were just these awful people.
We
They
should say apes.
I'm not going to get into that.
Okay.
If you care about that, stop listening to the podcast right now.
Okay.
People who do that are not interesting.
They're not monkeys. They're apes.
So they mow them down with like hoses, like they're just horrible to him. But Caesar,
just for the hell of it, just to be mean.
oh yeah, because the one
to be a
guys,
dick.
they're just really
Yeah.
they're like sadists. And because of Caesar's super intelligence, he like starts figuring things out. And at one point,
So Caesar is super intelligent because of the serum.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm going back to tell the whole movie,
right.
but he eventually leads them, and the one like jerk guard is like trying to tell him to go back in his cage one time, and he turns around and goes, "No!" And you're like, "Whoa!" The monkey talks. And then at the end, when James Franco is in the woods telling
Caesar
him, "Come home
loved
with me," and
James
Caesar,
Franco.
he hugs him and he goes, "Caesar is home." And James Franco like goes, "Yeah, I understand. You live in these like trees with all these monkeys now," which isn't a sustainable thing. These monkeys aren't just going to live in trees.
What are they going to do?
I know, it's ridiculous. And Frida Pinto from Slumdog Millionaire is
Oh,
like
yeah.
his girlfriend.
Ooh.
Oh,
Caesar's
yeah.
girlfriend?
No, well, maybe we'll see what happens. At one point during the movie, I thought that might happen because like James Franco and Frida Pinto are like making out, and you can see that like Caesar's becoming an adolescent. He's sort of looking down. You can see he's like envious, and I was like, oh god, this is going to take a real bad turn. I don't
Yeah.
want to see. That never happens, thank God. There's never anything awkward like that.
Yeah, I guess if you really wanted to be pedantic about it, there were a lot of holes that you could poke in the plot of that movie.
Oh yeah, but I don't think
That's not really the point.
It's not a
I guess.
documentary.
Yeah.
It's not about the science so much.
Oh man, we have so much to talk about today. We've actually been requesting listener feedback. Most people ignore us, but a few people on Twitter have responded. Do you want to try to get into the Twitter questions?
Oh, yeah,
See
let's
if we can
bring
answer
it.
these questions. Let me bring this up on the.
I'm not afraid of your questions, people. I'll answer anything.
Let's bring it up on the Computron here. We have a question from @Caitlin Argyle. She says, "I want to know more about how women are. Tell me how women are," all in caps.
Oh, this is good. Somebody sending in questions. Looks like an older woman. I'm glad we're getting the later demographic.
Yeah, I didn't know if we appealed to the over 40 crowd, but
Yeah, especially, that kind of over 40 crowd.
well, you've seen better days.
Burn.
Okay, why don't you take the first question here, Warren? I want to know more about how women are.
Oh,
Tell me
women.
How women are! Exclamation point.
I'd make $1 million if I could tell you how women are. The problem is the inconsistency.
So you're saying that women are inconsistent,
Oh, yeah.
emotionally,
Emotionally.
behaviorally? Are you going to focus in on one aspect of their
Oh, the whole thing. I'm like a Vulcan compared to women.
right?
I do it. I'm very rational,
Logical,
logical. I'm very consistent. These women sometimes.
cold, and distant emotionally.
Well, sometimes. Some might say that.
Yeah. Did your girlfriend say that?
Yeah. Most people say that. What can you say about him, really? If we understood him,
We get into trouble whenever we talk about women.
this is true. This is what this matronly old woman
She's trying
is trying to get us to do.
instigate some more
Yeah,
trouble
she's
here.
trying to cause trouble. I don't know why.
Maybe it'll succeed. I don't know. We'll see where we go with this. But whenever we say anything about women, we often deal in stereotypes because they're funny.
Yeah.
Stereotypes are amusing. So we're not saying that everyone is exactly this way, even though they pretty much are. But
Well, you just undermined what you just said.
no,
by saying that.
if people take the first half and
Okay.
don't listen to the second half,
The second
it'll
half
be
was the
fine.
joke. The first half was the truth.
Yeah. See, I'm not a good person to ask about women right now because I'm horribly embittered
Yeah, you are.
at the moment.
Yeah.
Because I've been cold and lonely for about 5 years now and have not had a girlfriend. You're actually in a relationship, so maybe your outlook is a little bit more positive.
Oh, yeah. I'm just a more positive guy all the way around, though, I think.
Why don't you expand on that?
Well, I like to keep a rosy view on things, the rose-colored glasses on.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I like to be a little optimistic about things. Why not?
Because nothing works.
Nothing works, but, what are you going to do about it?
Okay, I'll talk about women.
All right.
The other night, I was out at a dance club.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a little funky, getting a little crazy. Had some friends, they were dancing around. I was like, I'll join the friends, get in that party. There was a girl who was attractive, dancing near us, giving me a little eye, digging the action a little bit. It seemed to be that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type who approaches usually. Usually I need to have some very clear signal that a girl has any interest in me whatsoever, and then maybe I'll approach the girl.
Little pointer for you out there in the audience who might be interested in Brad.
Bradley at warrenandbradley.com. And then, okay, so we're dancing around. I'm like trying to catch the eye, trying to see if I can lure her over with my amazing dance moves.
Yeah.
Which, you've seen me dance.
They're pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing. And nothing was happening. Finally, at the end of the night, the very end of the night, as all her friends are getting ready to leave, she gets her coat on, she gets her little gloves. She walks over to me, gets right up next to me, pushes herself against me.
Nice.
Reaches back, puts her hand behind my head, and draws my head closer, because, I'm pretty tall and she's pretty short. She whispers in my ear, "You have amazing style, and you're really attractive." And then turns around and walks out the door.
Well, that worked out pretty well.
That's the way women are.
Well, this is your problem. You're supposed to make a move on this woman.
Well, but I had no... Okay, women don't want to be bothered by men who are approaching them constantly. Because an attractive woman constantly has men all over them. "Oh, let me buy you a drink. Let's go dancing."
An attractive
blah, blah, blah,
man
blah.
like you with your great style wouldn't bother her.
Well, but I have no way of knowing if anyone thinks I'm attractive or if I have great style unless they tell me.
Well, no. This is the thing.
Tell me the thing.
Successful men with the ladies, the kind of like Don Juans of the world, they just go for it. And what's the worst thing that can happen? They're not going to call the police.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe. Well, we'll work on that. But, you just get in there, you're like, "What's happening, baby? What's your sign?" And they're like, either they might be like, "Pfft," or else they might be like, "Yeah, you're pretty great."
This is true. They do get shot down a lot, though, too.
Oh, well,
you have to cast a wide net, and then occasionally you'll get a few fish. But if she felt that way, why not say it earlier so there was actually time to, get something going?
This is the thing. I'll tell you what this woman was thinking. Let me enter her mind. She was standing there, kind of dancing away, watching you, and she's like, "Wow, that guy is like really attractive. He has
Sort of
great style."
Adonis, kind of a Greek
She's
god.
trying to catch your eye, being like, "Come to me."
But she didn't do that.
Oh, but then why did you notice her kind of looking?
Well, but
she did.
No, I'm pretty good at seeing the signs, the come hither look. I never got maybe her come hither look just isn't.
But you noticed her like looking at you.
Slightly.
That's the only reason she would look at you.
But I don't want to get to the point where if a woman just catches, if I happen to be in a woman's field of view, I'm not going to be like, "Oh."
Why not?
Because.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I don't know. We did talk about this. There was a thing a few years ago when our friend, I think it was Rory, our good friend Rory, I was just posited as sort of a hypothetical that if you're somewhat attractive, you could probably just go up to a girl and kiss her.
Oh, yeah.
And probably not get slapped. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't throwing it out as really a serious idea, but then Rory challenged me. He's like, "Oh, come on, you could never do that. That's ridiculous." And then I did try it and then ended up dating someone for a while after.
This is exactly what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They're out there.
That's not a good idea. Listeners, don't just go up to women and kiss them.
Yeah, don't do it without their consent, people.
Yeah. Or if you're going to do it, send us a picture of yourself first. And then
we'll tell you if it's going to be
idea or not.
successful. But I remember, this is the weird thing about you, buddy. I remember going out to dance clubs with you sometimes. And we'd be out there, we'd be getting our groove on, doing whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd always be like, "Look at that girl. That girl's looking at you." And I'd be like, "I don't think she is." And you're like, "Oh, I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is."
See, I know.
Then you try to like get him over there, and I'm like, I think you're wrong.
No. Remember that one girl? That worked. Well, she liked you.
But a lot of the time, she was just like, they just happened to be over there on the other side of the stage. And
Well, sometimes when I get drunk, I get a little more exuberant.
Well, this is the thing. You're trying to apply that to the people around you. You got to start thinking with that confidence with yourself.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, don't you whatever me.
I don't want it to sound like I'm completely socially inept and never ever can go talk to women, because that's not the case. I mean, it's just no, it's not. Come on, compared to you especially.
Oh, what? I'm no good at talking to women?
No. Well, maybe in like a jolly joking way, but in terms of actually
sealing the deal,
I don't know.
I'm like, "Oh, baby, come on, let's
baby,
do this
how
thing."
you doing?
See, that was good. You can tell. That's why I'm like, I'm tired of joking around with you, baby. Let's go make out.
That's good.
Thank you. Well, see, I can do it.
Do you have to use that voice? Is that necessary?
I don't know. I prefer maybe like a Latin lover voice is usually the way to go.
"Hey, baby, how you doing?"
Oh, that's racist. Don't ever do that.
You're the one who brought it up. I should fake an accent, maybe.
Well, no. That is the best idea. Well, you can't sustain it.
I could sustain it. I could go years.
Oh, for years,
years and years.
Well, then what are you gonna do if you're like, "Let me introduce you to my friends," and they're all like, "Oh, he's Scottish. He wasn't Scottish before," and he's like, "Just play along,
No,
play
I
the
think
fuck
I'd do
along."
like East London or something.
Oh, I think it works amazingly well.
Maybe kind of Cockney. The thing is here, love. Yeah, I don't know if I could sustain it very long.
Oh, that's awful. He's even more subtle than that.
If I got drunk, I would start like going out into my normal accent.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's attractive to women, though. I think they do like the accents. They just like the
anything different.
You're exquisite, or exquisite.
Exquisite.
What am I? I'm going for
Exotic.
Exotic. Thank you.
And exquisite.
Yeah, it could be. Go for exquisite.
So this all came from the Twitter question. So that's the way women are?
Yeah, that's the way women are. What's the name of this person?
This is at Caitlin Argyle.
So this might be something you want to pass on to your children or maybe your grandchildren. Looking at your picture, I think they might.
Maybe the great-grandchildren.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
She's a handsome woman.
Keep those questions coming, people.
Should we try to answer another one here?
Yeah, let's do it.
We have another one from Beyond Dom. She also says she wants to know more about women. Why they always eat just half a sandwich instead of an entire one. I think we've already answered that because they're mildly crazy, inconsistent.
That's just because
emotional.
They need to remain attractive.
Thin, so Warren will find them attractive. Yeah. I think that's probably enough Twitter questions.
Oh, there are lots of other questions we have. We're just choosing not to read them.
Well, because they're very kind of inside. Nobody else would understand anything that's going on. Because the only people who actually write us questions are people we know.
Whoa. This is whoa.
No, I mean people we don't know at all. They're fans.
Yeah, this is all. Yeah. These are fans we don't know.
Old woman Caitlin who listens in her nursing home. So I was reminded the other day. There was a news story where the FBI has finally changed its definition of rape.
Oh, yes.
Which came in, I think it was in the 20s or something when this definition was first posited. It was carnal knowledge of a woman without her consent.
Sounds like rape to me.
Yeah. So that was rape. But the problem that people had with this definition is that it did not include men in the definition.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
You got to get those in there.
And it reminded me of the time, as we've said before, Warren and I went to a private Christian school I was there from kindergarten through 8th grade. You were there.
The way you're setting this up sounds like we're going to get raped by the teachers.
No.
Okay.
And also, when I say that we went to a private Christian school, this was not a posh private Christian school.
No, it wasn't like a Catholic school either with nuns and people with actual degrees teaching you things.
Yeah, it was a very low income sort of, and most of the teachers, I don't think they had any sort of certification at all.
It was a low rent kind of school.
Very, very much. But because it was a Christian school, I don't know how it works in middle school, but I'm assuming that around 8th grade you start getting some sort of sex ed class going on.
I mean, probably even earlier.
Probably earlier. We did not, because that would be evil, and the devil is the author of all things sexual. But we had sex respect.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of a good way to summarize what the sex respect class was.
I remember donuts.
Yeah, they did give us donuts.
We had to go in early, and we had donuts, and I was always like, this is great.
Yeah. But basically, the entire curriculum for the sex respect class was don't ever have sex.
Yeah.
Which isn't a horrible message, I guess, because they're going to figure it out eventually anyway. But I guess the problem with it was that people are going to have sex, and just telling them not to have sex, but without preparing them for what could happen if you have sex, is a problem. But they talked a lot about things like secondary virginity, which I thought was a hilarious concept, where if you are a horrible harlot and have had sex with somebody, well, according to this, then you can go back and rededicate your vagina to God, apparently.
I don't know if they've ever gotten to that.
Well, I'm extrapolating from the very oblique way that they phrased it. And then you could be a virgin again because you've rededicated your virginity to God. They were into the promise rings. But there was one point in the curriculum when they were talking about rape. And, well, actually, before we even get into that, the heavy petting thing. No,
this is the main thing I remember from it. I remember there was a story of this guy and this girl.
Oh, yeah, they were bowling.
And there were, there were like, drawings of them. They're, like, hanging out, and they're like, oh, they went on a date. That's fine.
Yeah, holding hands.
Holding hands and stuff.
That was fine.
Then they, went over the house, and they may give a kiss. That seemed to be okay.
You could do the peaches kiss, but you couldn't do the plum kiss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they got into petting, and then it was like, oh, petting, and then it was like, heavy petting. And once you got to heavy petting, it was game over, mister. You're done. You're going to have sex, and you're going to have a baby, and it's going to be a disaster.
Okay. I had no fucking clue what heavy petting was.
No.
I imagined two people sitting there like monkeys grooming each other, just rubbing their fingers over their... Like, what the fuck did that mean?
Yeah.
I've since come to learn that heavy petting is like making out and rubbing each other.
It's like groping.
Groping.
It's like
fondling.
groping each other.
So, where did the heavy... Oh, God. I'm choking in rage right now. Where did the term heavy petting come from?
I think
is this something that was like in the 1940s, and that's why it was in our curriculum, and nobody says this now?
I feel like back then people talked about petting a lot. It's like when people were necking.
Necking, yeah.
At make-out point, people
I would
neck.
hear this term as a child and imagine people like ostriches, like rubbing their necks together. It made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah. It's that, and it's like, I think if you're like just moving into sex for the first time, you're moving through this process where you're like just like rubbing your hand on each other,
backs, and then
while
your necks are entwined.
But you have to
together.
be careful about like rubbing heavily. Because at that point it's like, next thing you know,
So
bam.
does that mean that you could delicately probe a boob? That's fine.
I don't think you should, but I think when it gets heavy is when it like turns in a way that you can't control.
Well,
anymore.
I was trying to think of the bases a while ago, the definition of what the bases are, and I think they've been changing over time, but my understanding is first base is kissing.
Okay.
Even up to and including making out, maybe.
I feel like first base isn't like making out.
Second base would be groping. Maybe there's some boobage going on there. Third base, or maybe heavy petting would be second base. Third base is when genital manipulation starts coming into play, where maybe you're reaching down, getting a little grabastic going on. Yeah. And then home is actually sex.
Anal sex, yeah. We just skipped
is this a standard definition? Is that what most people think?
I've tried to figure this out for years. I don't think there is any like actual accepted definition of the bases. It's always disputed, and everyone has their own idea.
Well, but people are always like, well, actually, I guess nobody really even...
On TV and in movies,
on TV,
people like talk about first base.
And so is one guy thinking first base is oral intercourse, the other guy thinks first base is, I don't know, choking fetish, and the other guy thinks first base is fecophilia or something? I mean, who knows?
Maybe it's kissing, making out with petting, oral, and then vaginal intercourse.
Oh, oral? Okay.
You got to put oral on there.
Yeah.
That's got to be a base.
See, that was the other thing that we used to argue about, too. I don't know about if you and I necessarily did, but I always considered oral sex.
The vigorous. Oh, this was going on during the 90s, yes, with Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton, yeah. And supposedly...
This is what we were debating in debate club?
Supposedly now middle school kids are like, oh, oral sex isn't sex, so I can just do blowjobs all day long. It's fine.
Next time on. Oprah, I remember seeing Oprah saying that like all the middle schoolers are performing oral sex on each other. I remember hearing about this like 10 years ago or something. I was like, really? This is what's going on?
There's lots of chapstick. There's lots of things. Yeah.
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
The other thing I would hear about was people have these rings around their wrists, like multicolored rings that they wear. This was something, I can't remember what they were called.
Well, we had the friendship bracelets.
Well, this is
different.
This is like
the
plastic.
blowjob bracelet.
Yeah.
What does this mean? It means that you've given blowjobs?
I guess, and then you would like put it on your wrist and you'd have a bunch of them. And I think
that's for each blowjob you've given?
Something like that. And apparently they're like trying to ban them at schools
Why
and
did
stuff.
why was I in middle school when I was in middle school? I did not reap the benefit of any of this. I was thinking about that too, just if we had grown up as children in the internet porn age the way it is now.
Imagine?
I think I would be so fucking warped.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, if you found some muddy, shredded up Playboy that somebody had left by a dumpster, that was the find of the century, and you'd pour over it with your friends like, oh my God, look at this. Now you can go anytime you want and see somebody shitting in a cup. It's really disturbing.
This is the thing with the sex stuff too. You keep ramping it up. You keep pushing it farther.
Well, you have to go
Society does.
Because it doesn't titillate anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You know, olden times, you see a woman's ankle, you're just like over the moon. You can't believe it. Now you got to see some guy like, shitting in a cup and like throwing on a woman's face or something, some horrible thing like that, because that barely moves you anymore. You have no feeling.
It gets to the point where you just are disgusted and feel no sexual feeling whatsoever anymore.
And that's what I'm beginning to worry about.
Yeah.
This is what's happening in our society.
It's that idea of the psychopath who has no affect, where they can't get a response from normal interactions with people, so they have to slaughter them.
That's where you're headed.
I'm not saying I am. I'm saying I'm worried that as a society we're getting to that point. Where, when I was 12 years old, seeing a nipple would drive me over the moon. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Now, if I were a 12-year-old boy and had access to the internet, I'd be like, oh, there's no double penetration. What the fuck is this shit? Yeah,
it's got to jade these kids.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you have kids now, how do you stop them from seeing this?
Well, and then imagine when I had my first sexual encounters as a teenager. Like, I didn't know
you were in
sex
your late
does.
20s, weren't you?
Well, no, I was 18 when I first had sex.
Buddy.
Yeah, it's true. there was kind of an innocence going on there. I knew what sex was. I knew what you're supposed to be doing.
The innocence is gone.
But it would never have occurred to me to do some of the warped things that are common in pornography now. If you're like a teenager now who has been brought up on internet porn, are you going to be satisfied with just having sex? Or are you going to start trying to...
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole point of this, the sex respect discussion, was...
whatever happened to that?
Yeah, okay.
Give me some respect.
We're going to bring this back full circle here. There was at one point they were talking about rape.
Yep.
And they were giving statistics, like I can't remember a certain amount of percentage of women are raped every year.
Yeah, you're not interested in that, yeah.
Well, no. I mean, okay. It always seems kind of high, but maybe, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
And then they're saying that 1 out of every 10 men is raped.
Yeah.
And I remember us as 13 or 14-year-olds being very confused by the statistic and trying to think. And then finally one of our friends was like, oh, other men raping men.
Yeah.
And then it all seemed to make sense. But then we had a good hour-long discussion about whether we could get raped or not. Do you remember this?
I do remember this.
And I think the consensus was finally that we could all clench our assholes tight enough that nobody would be able to rape us.
That's the kind of beautiful naivete we were raised with.
And then I saw American History X. And
you were disabused of your ideas.
I still think it would be pretty tough. You just have to do a lot of squats, so you have very massive gluteal muscles.
No, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I think there is.
No.
Well, you're watching Brokeback Mountain.
Oh.
They're wrestling around in the tent.
Yeah.
He spits on his finger.
Oh God.
Does a little feel, and suddenly he's up there. Yeah. I don't think it's that easy. I think it's way more difficult than that.
This is the discussion we're having right now.
We are having this discussion right now.
Oh my God. I don't know.
I don't
know what it's like to rape a man. I don't know what it is to be raped. To be a man and be raped.
A man. I don't know.
It's a horrible thing.
It's a horrible thing.
Rape is horrible.
It is. It's a horrible thing. Well, the thing that confused us the most is we were trying to imagine a woman trying to rape a man.
Well, yeah.
And thinking well, if I didn't want to have sex, then how could they? But then that's when it finally occurred to us that maybe
I do recall as a child hearing the term male prostitute.
Yeah.
And thinking, wow.
What an amazing job.
What a job that is.
But then you realized later in life that you're having sex with men.
No.
There are supposedly gigolos who have sex with kind of 45-year-old women who are professionals.
I hope a 45-year-old woman is listening. The kind of woman that could never have sex with a man without paying him.
No. They're a professional. They're going to conferences in Milwaukee, and there's a dude that hangs out in the airport. He's like, "Hey, baby, what's up?" And he goes to her hotel room and has sex with her. This is the
Midnight
myth,
Cowboy.
Well, but in Midnight Cowboy, we saw that this doesn't actually. Well, actually, he did find one woman, didn't he? Yeah.
That was his whole plan.
That was the greatest thing about the movie, is that he thought he would go to New York and be a gigolo, and then he realized that doesn't really happen very easily.
I don't know how often that happens. I don't know how many men have been paid by women to have sex with them.
I would assume it's a very low number.
I'm going to think it's pretty low. I'm going to think these people probably...
You and I excluded, then it's...
Yeah, we made a lot of money.
That's how we're financing this podcast.
Yeah. This bandwidth isn't cheap. It's getting paid by us having sex with 45-year-old women that no one else will touch.
It's not that no one else will touch them. It's that they're away from the home. Feel a little randy on the road. They're going to all these conferences, having cocktails.
So they look for a male prostitute?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing, though. That I don't think that happens.
That's the whole problem with this, is all the things that men often ascribe their own... motivations to women, and it's not really the case.
No, it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know more about women, Caitlin Argyle? A man could look at a picture of a vagina, be like, that's great. I like that. That's amazing. A woman could look at a picture of a penis, and it's like, it's not doing anything for me.
I hope that cleared things up for you. What are you drinking there, Brad?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Warren. Let me just take a sip here. Well, Warren, this is a Dr. Pepper. It's a soda. It's made with 23 unique flavors. It's crisp, light, rich. And the thing I like most about it, it's not a cola or a root beer. It actually occupies its own unique niche in the soft drink ecosystem.
That's what you like most.
You're ruining this.
You're just going from store to store to store looking for something that's not a cola or a root beer.
You're ruining our not.
Why don't you
ad
just
for
drink
Dr.
7-Up?
Because 7-Up is what is 7-Up?
It's lemon lime.
Yeah.
There are plenty of things that aren't cola or root beer. That's a terrible ad campaign for Dr. Pepper.
It's still dark. It's still cola-ish, but it's not.
So you want something that's dark, that's not a cola or a root beer.
Well, it has the satisfying punch of a cola or a root beer, but it's not either. As I said, it occupies its own unique niche in the soft drink ecosystem.
Yeah, it really does. What is the flavor of Dr. Pepper? It's just a bunch of flavors set together. 23 flavors are just jammed into a bucket.
I have no idea.
If you know the answer, contact us,
At
please.
podcast@warrenandbradley.com.
We're desperate for answers.
We need to keep mentioning our website, warrenandbradley.com, facebook.com/warrenandbradley. Follow us on Twitter @warrenandbrad. Write to us at podcast@warrenandbradley.com.
Do all of them.
Do all of them at the same time. Subscribe on iTunes. Leave a review. Leave a rating.
Go to your local Ace Hardware. Buy some spray paint.
Yeah.
And bomb the hell out of your neighborhood. Write warrenandbradley.com on people's like mailboxes, on like big like concrete walls, on basketball hoops, anywhere you can.
But don't tell us you're doing it because we want to have plausible deniability.
Yeah, I mean, when they come to us and be like, why did this happen? Well, they'll probably listen to the podcast and be like, well, you told people to do that. This isn't a crime, though.
No,
what I'm doing right now isn't a crime.
This is parody. It's protected by the First Amendment.
I don't really want... I do want you to do it, but I don't... You know
what
wink,
we mean.
wink. You know the radio wink. Do it. Just go out there and do it.
It would also be cool to maybe break into government buildings and leave things that look as though it could be some sort of explosive device. When they open it up, it'll say warrenandbradley.com.
If you have an enemy, murder him.
Oh, eviscerate
Take a card that says warrenandbradley.com and shove it in his mouth. And so when they open it up, the coroner opens up his mouth. He gets that and he's like, well, this is interesting. Maybe initially they're looking into it to see like what connection it has to the crime. It has none, except for the fact that you're a fan of the show.
And we told you to kill somebody.
And that's the only connection.
You could also take their own blood and write on the wall behind where they find the body. You could take out their intestines. There's feet and feet and feet of intestines. Make a hole in the gut, pull out as much intestine as you can, and then use it as sort of like silly string and write out the name of our podcast, The Warren and Bradley Show, or warrenandbradley.com. If you have enough, you could even do the URL for our RSS feed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much you're going to get out of there, but be creative.
Depends how good you are at doing it.
Yeah.
You could get Warren and Bradley like tattooed onto yourself.
The forehead.
The forehead.
Well, nobody's going to see it otherwise.
Well, this is the problem with that.
What?
The forehead. People with facial tattooing are insane.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, what's the exception?
The
most sane people. Yeah, the most sane people are like the gangsters who get the little like teardrop.
Yeah,
those are like the sane ones.
Doesn't that mean that they killed somebody or something?
Yeah, apparently don't get a teardrop tattoo. Because if someone finds out you're doing that, you didn't kill anybody, they'll like kill you or beat you up.
Or if you were like an English nationalist, you'd get the cross of St. George really small, like right between your eyes.
Yeah.
But that means
don't
you're
do that.
kind of a neo-Nazi person, so don't do that either. But otherwise, how is anyone going to see our tattoo if they don't put it on their forehead, though?
Well, you can get it like on your back, and you can go to the beach
and just be shirtless.
You can get it on your forearm.
What you should do, put it on your belly. And then wear a vest with no shirt on underneath. That's a good look anyway.
No, we don't want those people listening.
I would encourage that. And
if you wear a vest with no shirt on underneath it, stop listening right now because I'm sick of you. I'm sick of people doing that. It's a weird thing to do. And any man that's wearing a vest that isn't like a puffy vest because he's cold, if you're wearing like some sort of like, for aesthetic reasons, wearing a vest that's not part of like a suit, don't take it off right now.
Well, sometimes I wear a dress shirt and a tie with
that's fine.
Okay.
You can do that. But if you're just like walking around, you're wearing like a regular button-up shirt or even like a turtleneck and you put a vest on.
What about a sweater vest?
It's better. It's still not good. Just take off those vests. You're drinking diet soda right now.
No, I'm not.
Oh, wait.
Good segue, Warren. That didn't work.
I know. I was trying to segue into talking about diet soda.
I never drink diet soda.
It's weird because I saw the doctor and I just thought it was diet soda. But the thing about Dr. Pepper is they say that it tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper.
I have had Diet Dr. Pepper, and it's not bad at all, yeah. If you have Diet Coke, blah, disgusting. Diet Pepsi, disgusting.
Well, I think diet sodas are better than they were when we were children.
Yeah, when they used to be. It's, well, maybe my whole argument's going to fall apart, but I was going to say you shouldn't drink so much soda that the only way you can stay alive while drinking all the soda is to switch to diet.
Yeah.
If you're drinking so much that you need the no-calorie version, then you're drinking too much soda. Soda is supposed to be a treat. It's supposed to be something that's tasty. It's like...
For a man who drinks a lot of soda, you're saying that's supposed to be a treat.
Maybe 1 or 2 a day. It's a lot, I guess.
Yeah, you should switch to diet.
No.
Although everyone says in the chemicals to give you cancer.
Well, they use new, I don't know what they use to sweeten it.
Well, it'll just be a different kind of cancer they find about in 10 years.
I don't know. It's this thing that drives me crazy when I go to the coffee shop and I want to get a nice little muffin, maybe.
Yeah.
Every fucking muffin in the store is the low-fat, gluten-free muffin. It's like, do you have a normal muffin that has sugar and fat in it? I don't eat muffins every day. I don't need the non-fat, gluten-free muffin. I want a normal fucking muffin. And everyone looks at me like I'm crazy.
Well, the fact that you're yelling about a muffin
well, I'm not yelling at the time. I'm yelling now.
Well, right now, you're like slamming your hand down and you're yelling.
Angry about it.
You look like Hitler.
It's this thing where all these idiots are imposing their bullshit on everyone else. You're a fat slob who gorges on muffins all day, and so people are like, okay, we need to make the low-fat version of the muffin so this person doesn't have a heart attack in the coffee shop. And because of you, I can't get a normal, good-tasting muffin.
This is the thing. Are there any people that are obese just because they eat too many muffins?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think there are like people who just buy like 7 muffins and they eat them.
Well, it's because they're eating the muffins, they're going home, and they're eating the bag
they're eating
of
all
Cheetos.
sorts of other things.
But it's just one more thing, and it's like low-fat cream cheese. What is the fucking point? How much cream cheese can you eat in a day?
Yeah, if you eat like a bucket of cream cheese every day, you better get the low fat. But just don't eat a bucket.
But don't eat a bucket of cream cheese. This is the whole point. You can eat whatever the fuck you want. Just don't eat pounds and pounds of it whenever you eat it.
This got me thinking about something interesting. The Muffin Man.
Who is the Muffin Man? Have you seen the Muffin Man?
Yeah, is that a song? I
don't know what that was for.
I have recollections of like the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I'm sure it was some sort of ad campaign. And
is it, or is it like
our time,
children's thing?
I don't know. We
like a song for children.
Have you seen the Muffin Man?
Have you seen the Muffin Man?
That was the name of the song,
Muffin
right?
Man, the Muffin Man. I feel like Have You Seen the Muffin Man is something that I've heard many times in my life, but I've never thought about who the Muffin Man was. Is he a man that makes muffins?
Keep talking. I'm looking.
Is he somebody that like... Well, I can talk about Muffin Men. I can speculate about the nature of Muffin Men for
I said Muffin
hours.
Man, but I think it knew what I meant.
Muffin Man. Oh, Wikipedia. Thank God. There's an article about the muffin. Oh, there he is.
Whoa, he's got a bell. He's got a big... Is that a muffin on his head?
Is that a muffin on his head?
No, I think it's a tray of muffins.
Oh.
Okay, The Muffin Man is a traditional nursery rhyme or children's song of English origin. It has a Roud Folk Song Index number of 7,922.
Oh, yeah.
Lyrics. Oh, do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man who lives in Drury Lane?
That's right.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Yes, I know the Muffin Man who lives in Drury... That's it?
That's the song. I do remember that song.
That is nothing. First recorded in a British manuscript of around 1820, Victorian households had many of their fresh foods delivered. Muffins would be delivered door to door by a muffin man. The muffin in question was the bread product known... Okay, this is what we call English muffins. Not muffins.
The kind of muffin that I vomited up as a child.
Yeah.
English people call by the Muffin Man.
English people call muffins. Muffins.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
What do they call a muffin then?
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
Because there's the thing with the buses too, right?
Because
they call like
trucks, big trucks or lorries.
They call a Greyhound bus or a bus like that a coach.
Oh yeah.
And then they call a regular bus a bus.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
They're all fucked up. Okay, so that's the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man used to deliver your muffins to you every morning.
We'll put the rendering of the Muffin Man on our Twitter account.
Oh yeah.
Definitely put the Muffin Man up there.
I like the Muffin Man. He's got a little belt or a bell. He's got a nice little. He's got a waistcoat, a little cravat going there, big tray of muffins, an apron. Yeah, he lives on Drury Lane. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
What are you talking about?
You need to get out there. We've talked about the tattooing. We've talked about the murder and other things.
Oh, you
that
want
can
people
do.
to spread word about the podcast?
You need to tell other people about the podcast. We don't. What the fuck do you think we're doing this for? We don't get any enjoyment out of this.
No. Well, why are we doing it then?
We certainly don't get any money. It costs us money to do this podcast.
To be famous? Is that why we're doing this?
No, we're doing it because we have to. An artist has to create.
Oh, yeah.
We cannot not podcast. It's a compulsion that we have
artists,
to. Yeah. We sacrifice for this podcast.
Yeah.
It costs us money. And
You
you
know how much
people sitting
caffeine
on your
I have to
asses
drink?
with your little iPods listening to this for free think that you don't have to give anything back. It's just a take. This is a give and take relationship. We give you quality podcasting. You give us, what do they give us?
Spreading the word.
Spreading the word to other people.
Podcasts.
You share it on Facebook. You write letters to your congressman.
Yeah. Get a plane.
Get
skywriting
Get some skywriting. Get a blimp. Come on.
Brad's really interested in spreading this podcast, people. I don't really care that much. But, I mean, it's not going to affect me.
That's apparent.
But I'm still doing quality work, though, here.
You're giving it your all, Warren.
This is my
I
A
appreciate
game.
that. Yeah.
You know, spread the word. What do you got to lose? Your pride?
Maybe friends.
Okay, this is what you're going to do. If you're going to approach people and tell them about the podcast, Brad's going to start approaching women in bars. We're all going to start approaching each other.
Yeah, let's open the lines of communication.
We're all closed off right now.
Yeah. What's wrong with our society? We need to engage other people. And that's what we're doing. That's what Warren and I are doing right now. We're trying to engage you. And you people just aren't, fuck off.
Well, this is the thing. I don't think we should be chiding the people that actually listen to the podcast. We should be chiding the millions
the people
of others
who aren't
don't
listening to this. What the fuck is wrong with them? That's the question. No, we love all the listeners, and we do know that there are a lot of people who are spreading the word. I was actually very shocked because we do this, and we don't know if anyone likes it. Why would anyone like it?
Yeah, it's a
in my
big question.
opinion. But occasionally, I'll get people telling me how much they enjoy it, and sometimes I'm slightly perplexed. Like, I don't know how to take that exactly. It's like, really?
Someone likes the podcast?
Yeah. Or if they're just really, really just
Passionate
in their
about
praise.
the podcast?
I'm like, really? Okay. What's wrong with you?
That's a horrible reaction. You should be like, oh, thank you. You should be modest. But
Well,
at the
no,
same
no,
time-
no, I
At the
am.
same time, you should act like you're like, I know it's great. But you'd be like, oh,
No, my
we do what we
response.
can.
My response is, "Oh well, thank you very much. I'm glad you like it." That's
So
what
you
I
say, really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, good.
I'm good. I'm good at hiding my true feelings.
Next time on the Warren and Bradley Show.
You did not have 3 cigarettes before. Now you do. You're welcome. Fuck off. And
So you had some mental block where you're thinking about your dirty ass all the time.
yeah,
I'm the guy. I'm the heterosexual man. I get to decide which women are attractive.
yeah. That's gonna be my go-to fake name.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Craig Andy.
Craig Andy, of course. You
So,
know what?
okay.
It's actually fine. As long as you're using my body, it's fine.
That's fine.
The Warren and Bradley Show. Available on iTunes and at warrenandbradley.com.